In the vast, unending expanse of existence, before time as we know it began its steady march forward, there was a realm of pure light and harmony. This was heaven, a place of perfect order, filled with beings of immense power and beauty. These beings were the angels, created to serve the ultimate source of all creation. Among this celestial host, one angel shone brighter than all the others. His name was Lucifer, which means light-bringer or morning star. He was not just another angel, he was a masterpiece of creation, a testament to the divine artist's skill. His presence was like the first light of dawn, chasing away shadows and filling every corner of heaven with a radiant glow. Lucifer was given a position of great honor and responsibility. He was a leader among the angels, a guardian of the celestial throne itself. Imagine a being crafted from the very essence of light, adorned with wisdom that surpassed all his peers. His voice was said to be like a symphony, capable of producing music that resonated with the fundamental frequencies of the universe. He was tasked with leading the other angels in songs of praise, his melodies weaving the fabric of peace and joy that defined their existence. He walked among the fiery stones of heaven, a perfect and breathtaking creation, admired by all who beheld his splendor and his unmatched brilliance. His purpose was clear and noble, to reflect the glory of his creator. He was like a perfect mirror, designed to capture the infinite light of the divine and cast it back out into the celestial kingdom for all to see. In his perfection, he embodied the harmony of heaven. He was the chief of the cherubim, a high order of angels known for their wisdom and proximity to the divine presence. He was a symbol of what was possible, a living example of divine artistry. Everything about him, from the light he emanated to the wisdom he possessed, was a gift bestowed upon him to fulfill his sacred duty within the grand cosmic order. For eons, Lucifer fulfilled this role flawlessly. He was a beacon of loyalty and a pillar of the celestial community. The other angels looked to him for guidance, and he led them with grace and authority. His existence was one of pure service and worship, a continuous cycle of receiving and reflecting divine light. There was no hint of darkness, no inkling of the profound change that was to come. He was the morning star, the brightest point of light in a sky already filled with countless stars. His story at this point was one of perfection, a beautiful note in the grand, harmonious song of the universe.
Perfect.
But within this perfect being, a subtle and dangerous thought began to take root. Lucifer started to look at his own reflection. He saw his incredible beauty, his profound wisdom, and the immense power he commanded. He heard the admiration in the voices of other angels, and felt the weight of his own authority. A new feeling, one he had never known before, began to stir within him. It was pride. He began to see the light he reflected, not as a gift from his creator, but as his own. He started to believe that his brilliance was self-generated, that he was the source of his own magnificence. This was the first whisper of rebellion. This pride grew like a shadow, slowly obscuring the light he was meant to reflect. He began to ask a question that would change the course of history. Why should I serve? He looked at the throne of the Creator and saw not a source of love and light, but a position of power that he felt he deserved. He convinced himself that he could be like the Most High, that he could ascend above the stars and establish his own throne. He no longer wanted to be a mirror. He wanted to be the source of light itself. This desire became an all-consuming fire, burning away his loyalty and his sense of purpose. His discontent did not remain a secret. Lucifer began to share his thoughts with other angels, planting seeds of doubt and ambition. He used his charisma and influence to persuade them, arguing that they too were beings of power and should not be bound to servitude. He painted a picture of a new order, one where they would be the masters of their own destiny, free from the authority of their creator. He managed to convince a third of the angelic host to join his cause. They were swayed by his powerful words and the allure of self-governance, choosing to follow the morning star into the darkness of rebellion. This decision was not made in a moment of anger, but was a calculated choice born from swelling pride. It was a fundamental rejection of his own nature and the order of the universe. Lucifer chose to value himself above all else, to place his own will and his own glory above the harmony of creation. He wanted to be the author of his own story, the god of his own reality. This singular, prideful choice set in motion a chain of events that would not only seal his own fate, but would also introduce conflict and sorrow into a universe that had, until that moment, known only peace. The rebellion of Lucifer could not be ignored. His choice shattered the perfect harmony of heaven, creating a division that had never existed before. The celestial realm, once a place of unified worship, became a battleground. On one side stood Lucifer and the angels who had chosen to follow him, their hearts filled with pride and ambition. On the other side stood the archangel Michael and the remaining 2/3 of the angelic host, their loyalty to their creator unshaken. A great war erupted in heaven, a conflict not of flesh and blood but of will and spirit, of light against a new and encroaching darkness. The battle was immense, shaking the very foundations of the celestial kingdom. It was a clash of cosmic forces, as angels who were once brothers now fought against one another. Michael, whose name means "who is like God," led the charge for the loyal angels. He was not fighting for his own glory, but to defend the divine order that Lucifer sought to overthrow. The conflict was fierce, as Lucifer, a being of immense power, unleashed his full might. But the light of the loyal angels, fueled by their devotion and their connection to the true source of power, proved to be stronger than the self-serving pride of the rebels. Ultimately, Lucifer and his followers were defeated. Their rebellion, born of a desire to ascend, resulted in the exact opposite. They were overcome not by a greater physical force, but by the fundamental truth they had rejected. They could not triumph against the very source of their own existence. As a consequence of their choice, they were cast out of heaven. The morning star, the light bringer, fell from the celestial heights like a bolt of lightning. He was stripped of his beauty and his position of honor. His light twisted into something dark and malevolent. The place that had been his home was now lost to him forever. This event, the fall from grace, marked a permanent change in the universe. Lucifer, now known as Satan, the adversary, and his followers, now called demons, were expelled from the realm of light. They were cast down into a different realm, a place of darkness and separation from the divine presence they had once known. Their fall was not just a change of location, it was a transformation of their very being. They became the antithesis of what they were created to be, agents of chaos, discord, and deception. The war was over, but its consequences would ripple through creation for all time. The story of Lucifer's fall transcends ancient texts and religious doctrines. It serves as a powerful and timeless metaphor for the human experience, a cautionary tale that resonates deeply within each of us. At its core, it is a story about the destructive nature of unchecked pride and the profound consequences of choice. Lucifer was given everything: beauty, wisdom, and power, but he lost it all because he allowed pride to convince him that he was the source of his own gifts. This is a fundamental struggle we all face. The temptation to believe our successes are entirely our own doing, forgetting the network of support and circumstance that helps us along the way. The narrative also highlights the critical difference between confidence and arrogance. Confidence is a healthy belief in one's abilities, rooted in self-awareness and humility. Arrogance, on the other hand, is an inflated sense of self-importance that leads to a disregard for others and for the natural order of things. Lucifer's journey from the morning star to the adversary is a dramatic illustration of this principle. He crossed the line from being a confident leader to an arrogant rebel, and that single step led to his downfall. His story asks us to constantly examine our own motivations and to ensure our ambition is tempered with humility and gratitude. Furthermore, this ancient tale speaks to the universal theme of rebellion and its consequences. It shows that choices, especially those made against a greater good or a higher principle, have lasting effects. The desire for absolute freedom, to be accountable to no one, can lead not to liberation, but to isolation and ruin. Lucifer sought to build his own kingdom, but in doing so, he was exiled from the one place of true harmony. This teaches us that true freedom is not found in the absence of rules or authority, but in aligning ourselves with principles of love, service, and connection, which ultimately lead to a more meaningful existence. In the end, the story of Lucifer is not just about an angel who became a devil. It is a mirror held up to humanity. It reminds us that the greatest battles are often fought within our own hearts. It is the ongoing struggle between pride and humility, between self-interest and service, between the desire to be a god and the wisdom to be part of something greater than ourselves. The echo of Lucifer's fall is a constant reminder that our choices define us, and that the path to true light is paved not with arrogance, but with a humble understanding of our place in the vast, interconnected tapestry of the universe.